Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So in today's ASMR video, focusing on maps and facts, because I know you love both, we're going to test my majority of subscribers who are from the US, number one, the UK, number two, Germany, number three, and I think Canada's either 4 or 5, with Italy the other one. And we're going to pitch North America against Europe in the ultimate ASMR geography quiz. Europe versus North America, the Ryder Cup. I don't follow golf. The Ryder Cup of ASMR quizzes. So, let me know, did you know more facts about Europe? Did you get more facts right about North America? Did you enjoy the quiz? Did you fall asleep? Let me know in a comment. Okay, so the format of the video quite simple. We do quizzes on this channel all the time. I'm going to deliver a statement, ask a question about it. Is it Europe or is it North America? And then I'm going to give you the answer straight away, because I know you don't like to wait till the end for the answers. You want to know if you're right, of course. Okay, so for example, if I say that the government, third time lucky, government, I can't say that word for some reason. The government of this country is a federal parliamentary constitutional monarchy. A federal parliamentary constitutional monarchy. There's probably quite a few. But which country do you think I'm talking about? Well, you might be shocked to learn that I'm actually talking about Canada, because the King of England, King Charles, is the monarch of Canada, officially speaking, but obviously has 0 powers. So yes, Canada is a federal parliamentary constitutional monarchy. So the USA obviously went to war with Britain for their independence, whereas Canada actually got their independence as late as 1982, I believe it was, which is the year I was born. So I don't remember Canada being a part of the empire, but it definitely was for quite a long time. Okay, and let's do one more. Okay, the population density of this country is 34.7 per kilometre squared. Now this is for the true geeks. I wouldn't know this without reading it out. But you can certainly suggest that certain countries aren't involved in this. The population density of this country is 34.7 per kilometre squared. It's the USA. So the USA is in parts densely populated, like up here and over here, but in other parts not, as in this bit and this bit. So if if I were to tell you the population density of Canada is actually 4.2 per kilometre squared, that's an incredible difference. 34.7 kilometres squared versus 4.2 kilometres squared. Which is between Europe and North America, the largest country for land mass? Okay, so if we're including all of Russia, Russia would win quite easily. But actually the European part ends about here, because the Ural Mountains are here, and they are generally considered to be the meeting point between the Eurasian continental plain and the European. There are other schools of thought to think that they're not two different continents at all, and technically should be considered to be one. Similarly with North and South America. In fact, I've heard another theory that says that Africa, because it's linked here, should also be considered one continent: Africa, Asia and Europe. But I digress. So this part here clearly isn't big enough to be the biggest country in the world. In that situation, where does it go? You're right, it's Canada, as you can see all of this. Of course, this is the Mercator map, so places like the north of Canada and Greenland look ginormous, and they're not. Actually, Australia is bigger than Greenland. And in fact, Australia is the same size as this. But it's Alaska that helps the USA into second place in this. So if Russia therefore is number 3, 1, 2, 3, which country would be number 4? Now, to the naked eye, Greenland would win that, but like I said, this is the Mercator map, so everything in the northern hemisphere looks larger than it is. Brazil, for example, looks smaller than Greenland, and Brazil is like the 5th largest country in the world. Greenland's not that big. Like I said, it's far smaller than Australia. So, where's it going to be then? You might be surprised. It's Ukraine. Ukraine, after Russia, for landmass, is the largest country in Europe. Then after that, we have France and I believe Spain, that are just a bit bigger than Germany. But it would definitely be France next after Ukraine. Norway is one of the longest, but that's not winning here, and it's certainly not as long as Chile. Okay, next up then. Where can you find the Peruchitsa rainforest? Rainforest. Well, actually, it's not, as you might think, over here, not in Florida or California. It's in Bosnia. Bosnia, which is here, Bosnia and Herzegovina, where is one of the last remaining rainforests in Europe. It's very wet, and next door Montenegro has the wettest record for Europe itself, Montenegro. Where would you find the Tabernas Desert? The Tabernas Desert. Well, there are plenty of deserts in the US. actually it's in Spain. The Tabernas Desert in Spain is considered the only true desert on the continent of Europe. If I know correctly, I think I used to live next to it, down the south here. So this is a desert here, and then a rainforest over here. Which country has the highest number of meteorite craters per land area in the world? The highest number of meteorite craters per land area in the world. So if you think in Russia or Canada or the US, you're actually quite wrong. And I slowed down in the question to give you a hint. So think about it again. Per land area. So it doesn't have to be a large country, but for its size, it has an unusually high amount of meteorite craters. Okay, the answer is Estonia. Bizarrely, Estonia's up here, just to the south across the water from Finland, borders on Russia and Latvia. And its capital is Tallinn. Yes, Estonia has the highest number of meteorite craters per land area in the world. Where can you find indigenous monkeys? Indigenous monkeys. Off the top of my head, I don't think I can... Oh, they're indigenous monkeys in the US. They might be in Mexico because of the rainforest down here. But the only indigenous monkeys that I know of are in Gibraltar. So Gibraltar, which is an overseas territory of the UK, literally centimetres from the Spanish coast. Down here is the only place in Europe that has indigenous monkeys. They're quite cheeky actually. There's lots of videos online if you want to check it out of them stealing hats and glasses and things like cameras out of tourists' hands. They're quite cheeky. Okay, which country then features the most zoos, zoological gardens, the most zoos in the world? Features the most zoos in the world. It doesn't say like per capita or per landmass, just most zoos. This country is Germany. Deutschland. I've been to a couple of zoos. I've been to Berlin Zoo and Cologne Zoo. So they do have very good quality ones that I'm aware of and that I've visited. Germany has the most zoos in the world. Did you know that? Okay. So, which country has a birth rate of 25.3%? Oh no, that's not right. Oh, I see. This country has a birth rate 25.3% higher than Canada. So the birth rate of this country is 25.3% higher than Canada. It is the US. It doesn't actually say what the birth rate is, but it's 25% higher than that of Canada, which you would assume with a much, much larger population. Okay, next one. Following some failed attempts to annex this country, the 1814 Treaty of Ghent, sometimes pronounced as Ghent in Belgium, and some later treaties established the modern border. So which border, after some failed attempts of annexation, was drawn up in the 1814 Treaty of Ghent. 1814 Treaty of Ghent. That border, curiously because Ghent is here, is the US-Canada border. So the US-Canada border, otherwise known as the 8,891 kilometre boundary, previously, not at the moment, called the world's friendliest border, and also the longest border in the world, I believe. Let me check my stats. The world's longest border, yeah. But on maps like this, it looks absolutely straight between these parts. But when you zoom in, it's actually more like a zigzaggy design. And this was drawn up in the Treaty of Ghent of 1814. Okay. Let's do another fact. Okay, due to the rapid weather changes, this country is entirely free of mosquitoes. Entirely free of mosquitoes. And that's due to the rapid weather changes in this country. There are no mosquitoes there. The answer is Iceland. Iceland was, similar to the Faroe Islands and Greenland, at one point, I think, I'm pretty sure, part of the Kingdom of Denmark, but it's definitely not now. It is an independent nation. So Iceland, beautiful place, highly volcanic. Many houses are heated by thermal pumps going down into the earth. The geothermal energy there is, yeah, it powers a lot of houses and gives them hot water. So that is Iceland, that has no mosquitoes. On a similar theme, which country here has no snakes? My Patreons will know this because I did this in a recent Patreon video when I was looking at some fun facts. This country has no snakes at all. Not a single one. So, the people from this country will know it's Ireland. Ireland is one of the only countries in the world to have no snakes, which is quite bizarre, because even snakes made it to the Galapagos Islands here, miles away from Ecuador, as well as New Zealand, miles away from anywhere. Yet, they just do not live on the island of Ireland. Of course, there's some folk tale reasons for this, that I believe the story is that St. Patrick cast them into the sea, But yes, there are no snakes there at all. Maybe Iceland is the other place there are no snakes. They're somewhere else. Okay. Where or which is the smallest country in the world? Smallest country in the world. It's definitely not Canada, is it? Or the US. It's Vatican City, which is in the middle of the city of Rome. Roma, the capital of Italy, which is where the head of the Catholic Church, the Pope, lives. And I assume so that the Vatican City has its own legislation on religion. Because if Italy said religion is banned and the Vatican City has to obey all of their laws, that's a problem. So the Vatican City is just in the middle of Rome. I went to visit it once. It's tiny. I think they do have a football team though. Okay. Let's do one or two more facts. We're talking once again about population. So I've already given away some clues. So within the context of this video and this map we're looking at, which country, which is the third most populated country in this video? We talked about land mass earlier on, but this time we're talking about actual population. So we're only referring to this much of Russia, and we've already talked about the US, and to an extent Canada. So, which is the third largest country? Well, as we've looked at facts just from the US and Canada, Mexico doesn't come into this. It would win. And Russia, there aren't hard statistics. Most of the Russian population lives in this area, but I don't have the stats to tell you exact numbers of how many of the 125 million people live here. So, presumably the third most populated country, then, thinking that maybe Russia's in second and USA's in first, would be Germany. Because Germany is the most populated country in the EU. And obviously it sits here in the middle of Central Europe. So, based on my terrible maths, USA is first, Russia would be second, European Russia, and then Germany would be third. This is if we're considering Turkey to be Asian, which I think most Turkish people do. They are included in many things that are European, such as the European Song Contest. They're eligible and have won it at one point, although they're not taking part at the moment. And they just qualified for the World Cup through the European qualifying section. But this is technically the only European part. All of this, Anatolia, is the Asian part. Of course, the city of Istanbul sits right in the middle of this land part here and this one. There's a small gap with bridges over it where you can get to the Black Sea from the Mediterranean. Istanbul. Turkey would be on a par with Germany in that case. Okay, maybe we should do one more. This country has the longest road tunnel in the world. It's the longest road tunnel in the world. This goes to Norway. The Lardal tunnel. Lardal tunnel is the longest road tunnel in the world. And this is Norway here. This long country. Okay, so we learned some facts about Europe, about North America, consisting in this video of Canada and the US. Sorry, Mexico. I did try and get facts for all three, but it got a bit messy. So I just stuck to those two. And I hope you enjoyed learning some things. I hope you got some of them right. Some of them were hard, some of them were easy. Some of them were unusual and shocking. Surprising. Some of them were ones that you probably have known for a very long time. Okay. Let me know in a comment if you enjoyed this and you'd like me to do it again. Maybe expanding out to look at Asia, Africa, the rest of the Americas and Oceania. Don't forget to join me on Patreon. Welcome to all the new patrons. Lovely to see you and thank you for your support. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Maybe hype it. I don't even understand that, but I'm going to say it anyway. And subscribe. If this is your first experience of my channel, you're going to love their other videos if you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching.